In today's world, there's just so much information coming at us. It's like a tidal wave, right?
Constantly.
And for leaders, trying to figure out what really matters, what you can actually use, cutting through all that noise, well, it can feel almost impossible sometimes.
Yeah, finding the signal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here, really. At the Deep Dive, we want to give you that shortcut, distill the best insights from the sharpest sources.
Get right to the heart of it.
Precisely. And today, we're embarking on, I think, a really crucial deep dive into purposeful leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically, we're zeroing in on, like, the cornerstone, clarity of authenticity.
Okay.
And this isn't just tips for managing better or ticking off tasks. It's about transformation, real transformation for you and everyone you lead.
That's right. Yeah, our whole discussion today, it's really rooted in Dr. Surya Ganduri's work. Fantastic book, Purposeful Leadership, Leadership Excellence with Awareness and Purpose Quantum Leap. And we're specifically looking at part 1 today, which covers one of his 5 foundational elements for leadership that truly makes an impact.
Okay, great. So our mission then, for you listening, is to really unpack what authentic leadership actually means in this framework.
Yeah.
We want to explore why it's so much more than just, the cliche of being yourself.
Right, it goes deeper.
And how it can become this, incredibly powerful catalyst for genuine, lasting change, something far beyond just boosting performance numbers. It's about closing that gap Dr. Ganduri talks about.
The 18 inches.
Exactly, the 18 inches between your head and your heart. Let's actually start right there. That's such a striking idea he brings up.
It is.
The longest journey you'll ever take is the 18 inches between your head and your heart. He mentions how he, like a lot of leaders maybe from his generation, used to think emotions just had no place in business.
The old school view.
Yeah. That's a huge shift, moving from that kind of thinking to really embracing authenticity.
It absolutely is. And what's really insightful is the nuance Dr. Ganduri brings. He's not saying leaders should just dump all their personal problems on their team.
Right, not oversharing.
Exactly. Or being transparent to the point where it's unprofessional. For leaders, he argues, vulnerability and authenticity mean sharing feelings, sharing struggles, but when it's appropriate and when it's genuinely helpful to other people.
Okay.
It's about acknowledging we're all, complex humans. And actually, employees kind of expect their leaders to be human too. Often it just starts with the leader being, vulnerable enough to say, I don't know.
Or I made a mistake.
Precisely, I made a mistake. That's huge.
Okay, that makes sense in theory. But practically speaking, for a leader trying this, where's that line between sharing what's helpful and maybe oversharing or even looking weak? How does he suggest navigating that?
Yeah, that's a really crucial question. And Dr. Ganduri, he emphasizes this isn't about being emotionally messy, right? It's about being strategically human.
Strategically human. I like that.
Yeah. The vulnerability he's talking about, it's really tied to acknowledging your own limits. And importantly, creating an environment where other people feel safe admitting their limits too.
So it fosters psychological safety.
Exactly. It's not about emotional release for the leader. It's about building trust and real connection with the team. Yeah. So when a leader says, look, I don't have all the answers here, but let's figure this out together.
Yeah.
That just completely shifts the dynamic. It's not top down anymore. It becomes a collaboration, a partnership. And that, he argues, is absolutely fundamental to building social connection. And ultimately, it makes the business stronger.
Right. So authenticity isn't just some, nice to have sort of touchy-feely thing. Yeah. It's actually central. It stands at the summit, turning good intentions into real impact.
Yes.
It transforms leaders from just managers into, meaning makers. I can definitely see how that requires bridging that 18-inch gap.
Exactly right. It's the principle that really ties everything together. A leader's values, their vision, their service, even their self-awareness makes it real and relatable. And Dr. Ganduri actually lays out 5 specific ways that authenticity becomes, as he puts it, the true North Star of leadership.
Okay, let's dig into those. So the first way authenticity acts as this North Star, it builds relational trust.
Foundational.
Absolutely. When leaders are genuinely honest, transparent, consistent, people don't just follow orders, they trust deeply. And it's not about projecting perfection, right? It's about showing up as your whole self, maybe including the imperfections. Dr. Ganduri argues this isn't just nice. It actually transforms followers into true collaborators because it builds that emotional safety, that mutual respect.
Yeah, think about it. When has a leader admitting a mistake ever weakened trust? Usually it does the opposite.
That's a great point. It often builds more trust than maybe a year of just flawless performance.
And that trust, well, it flows naturally into the second point. It amplifies purpose.
Okay, how so?
Well, a leader's purpose, their why, it only really becomes magnetic, something others want to connect with, when they believe it's genuine.
Right, they have to feel it's real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Authenticity ensures that the purpose isn't just, words on a poster. It's lived day in, day out. It aligns what you believe inside with how you act outside. And that's absolutely critical for building credibility, making people actually want to align their own work with that bigger purpose. It gives it weight.
That makes total sense. If you trust the person, you're way more likely to buy into their vision. Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting for me. Dr. Gunduri says, authenticity strengthens resilience.
Sounds powerful.
Yeah, because it suggests leaders don't pretend they have all the answers. In fact, he says admitting missteps, learning openly, that actually fuels long-term growth and adaptability.
It does.
We've all seen those leaders who project this like an invincible image, haven't we? And how quickly that can just crumble when things get tough.
Right. Fragile.
So this humility, this willingness to say, I don't know, or we messed up here, it reassures people because they see you're real, not perfect.
Yeah.
But how does that openness, practically speaking, build resilience in the team?
Well, that humility is incredibly powerful, you see, because it allows the team to be more resilient together.
Yeah.
When the leader is authentic about challenges, it sort of gives permission for everyone else on the team to be authentic about their struggles, their ideas, their mistakes.
So people aren't hiding problems.
Exactly. They're not pretending everything's fine when it isn't. And this creates a culture where, learning from mistakes is actually okay. It's embraced, not something to be feared. And that leads directly into the fourth point.
Gotcha.
It fuels passion and commitment. When leaders are genuinely leading from their core, aligning actions with values, that energy is contagious. It inspires others to bring their full selves, their passion, to work, too.
So it's about unlocking potential in others.
Precisely. Authenticity energizes teams. It gives them permission, really, to care deeply and contribute boldly. It shifts the whole focus from just completing tasks to connecting people to work that feels genuinely meaningful.
And the fifth point, which sounds like it kind of brings it all home.
It does. Authenticity anchors culture and strategy. Culture, as we know, it really does flow from the top, doesn't it?
Often, yeah.
And authentic leadership genuinely sets that tone. It fosters these inclusive, purpose-driven places where people feel truly heard, truly valued.
Like psychological safety again.
Absolutely. And think about strategy. A strategy guided by authenticity can stay true to its core values while still adapting to change, which is crucial, without losing its integrity. It allows for that experimentation, that open feedback you need for agile execution, especially when things are uncertain.
Okay. Wow. So those 5 points really paint a picture.
Yeah. And the bottom line here, as Dr. Gunduri puts it so well, is this. Purposeful leadership without authenticity. It's just performance. It might look good, but it's superficial. But purposeful leadership with authenticity.
Yeah.
Now that becomes transformation.
That's such a powerful distinction. Okay, let's say that again. Purposeful leadership without authenticity is just performance. But with authenticity, it becomes transformation. It really boils down to being your true self, your whole self, the best version of yourself.
Yes.
And understanding that sharing struggles is part of that authenticity, but crucially, only when it's appropriate and genuinely helpful to other people.
Yeah.
Really closing that 18-inch gap we talked about.
Exactly. And this whole journey, embracing authenticity, especially acknowledging what we don't know, allowing for that kind of strategic vulnerability. It's fundamentally about building real social connection.
Right, which strengthens the business.
Which strengthens the business, absolutely. It just reinforces why authenticity is that North Star. It builds that unwavering trust. It clarifies and amplifies purpose. It strengthens that collective resilience when you hit bumps. It ignites passion, deeper commitment. And ultimately, it anchors the culture and the strategy. It holds it all together.
So as you're listening to this, maybe reflect on that idea. That 18 inches between your head and your heart that Dr. Gunduri talks about. What might it look like for you personally to close that gap just a little bit more? How could embracing that true authenticity maybe lead to transformation, not just performance in your own leadership, or maybe even just in how you collaborate with others? Definitely something to ponder as you continue on your own journey.